Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris Neto. I'm the Market Development Manager here at Starin. And today we are having another wonderful Starin Town Hall. And with us, we have Mr. David Silberstein, the Manager of Channel Sales for North America at DTEN. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Hi, everybody.
For those of you that don't know Dave Silberstein, he has been in the industry for a long time. He's got a lot of great stories. And if you catch him online at any given point, ask him about what he's cooking, because he's always very, very open about what recipes he will be trying. Dave's a master chef outside, especially on the grill, and have you not tried any barbecue or any type of competitions yet, or are you just a straight up home cook?
I am just a straight up home cook. I'm not ready for the pressure of a competition of any kind.
Well, I personally think that you are absolutely ready for it, because you can come up with a recipe and build it out of nowhere. I can't wait to see what today's Chop Kitchen is going to happen in your house, because you got pantry items and you got chicken in the fridge. I can't wait to see what comes out later.
Actually, for the people that are hanging out in the Northeast or in the major New York area, there's a neat place in Nyack, and it's called DPNB, which stands for Drop Pasta Not Bombs. And they make fresh pasta every day. Different types, different kinds, and you just grab some pasta, throw it in the water for 2 minutes, and make whatever you want with it.
Absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, it's
my kind of place.
Tomatoes are in season right now, especially in New Jersey. So Jersey cherry tomatoes and a bundle of pasta and whatever protein you want to put in, you're making a pretty good meal.
So now that you made us hungry, it is 2:00. I have eaten, but I can always go. There's always room for pasta. Like there's always room for Jello. So thank you, everybody, for joining the conversation. We're going to get right into it. I have some questions for you personally. But before we get into the questions, Dave, tell us a little bit about DTEN, where you guys are at, and what it is that you guys do. And obviously, for the people, these are for the novices, the people that have not heard of DTEN that may be on the call.
Sure. So DTEN makes all-in-one appliances so that you can have any type of video call that you want. So everything's built in: cameras, microphones, speakers, and everything is touch enabled, compute and everything. So you can build a Zoom room or a Teams room simply by taking a DTEN out of the box and hanging on the wall, in essence. Right? Everything's fully interactive, so you get a full interactive touch screen. Easiest thing to ever use in the world, because all you have to do is walk up and touch the screen and it starts. And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes we've done in the video conferencing world is everything is touch. Why shouldn't your conference rooms be touch? Because touch not only gives us that ease of use where a novice who doesn't know anything about technology can figure out how to touch the screen and get into the meeting and get going, to we now take the room from communication to collaboration and ideation, because now I can share my ideas and I can mark up on the screen and I can really solve the problems that I went into that room to solve in the first place. So very powerful tool in terms of keeping people working and keeping people productive when they're in that conference room. And
yeah, I mean, touch. You guys do have a little bit of inspiration with the touch idea, right?
Yeah. I don't carry a BlackBerry anymore.
Oh, come on, dude. Why'd you have to make it so 90s? Like, there may be people on this call right now that have no clue what you just said and are now Googling a fruit looking for what BlackBerry is. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. So DTEN has been around. You guys got into the conversation, obviously, early on with the touch screens. You moved into the Zoom world as one of the first Zoom appliances that were built for Zoom, by Zoom, with you guys, kind of together. There was a whole approach to that. You have now since expanded into the team space. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. So all your products are Zoom certified and ready to go. And you have a series of them that are now Microsoft. Can you give us an update on your Microsoft Teams and what products are there already?
Yep. So within our product line, we have what's called the D7X. So the D7X unit that's running Android is certified for both Zoom as well as Teams in the 55-inch size. And I'm happy to say next month is our target to have the 75-inch version also certified for Teams. So again, doesn't matter whether it's Zoom or Teams, still full touch enabled, walk up, hit the screen, and away you go. On the Teams side, This is really cool because not only are we Teams Room certified, we're also what they call whiteboard certified. So if you get into the technical details, which Microsoft always likes to dig themselves into, the response time on a D10 board is actually faster than the response time on a Surface Hub Pro. So we're looking at about 30 milliseconds response time. Anything under 50 is considered usable for writing and marking. Some of the other people that are out there are not whiteboard certified because the response is just too slow. And certainly from Microsoft's point of view, a slow response does not make a good conference room. So in our case, we've got all the tools just like a Surface Hub Pro, and maybe we're a little cheaper too.
All right. Well, one of the things that does come up a lot, or a lot of the questions, you said you're both Microsoft and Zoom certified. That D10 that you just said, the 55, that is currently, that is for both. Do you have to purchase one or the other, or is it a all-in-one, you pick and choose from that device what you need it to be on the fly?
So the way it goes is you purchase the D7X Android. When you plug it in and turn it on, it's going to give you a prompt, and it's going to say, do you want this to be a Teams device or a Zoom device? Mm-hmm. Once you choose the device you want it to be, every time you turn it on from then on, it takes about 48, 50 seconds to boot up, and it boots into that environment. So you don't have to worry about anybody ever seeing a setup prompt, any of those kind of things. Once it's configured, it will always kick right back into that environment. If for some reason, let's say you were in the Teams world and you decided, oh my God, we're getting away from Microsoft and we're going to go all Zoom, you can go in, force the unit into a factory reset. When you do so, you'll get your prompts again and it'll rebuild to the other platform.
Awesome. For the folks that are new to this, what is the difference between having it in a Teams versus a Zoom? And specifically what we're looking at, the board physically is not, there's nothing changing there, obviously. But right. It's how it boots up, correct, into that environment. So it is there. You're talking, for lack of, I'm just going to dumb it down, but it's definitely a GUI, one GUI versus the other conversation, correct?
Right, absolutely. It's in essence, when you dumb it down, it's one GUI versus the other. Or even a better way to look at it is each one has a set of feature sets that are unique to their platform. So you kind of choose the platform that you work with the most in your environment. And then of course it doesn't matter, everybody does it a little differently. If you were in a Teams environment and the Teams environment receives a Zoom invite, you hit the join button the same way as you did for a Teams meeting, and it will join the Zoom environment. Same thing, if you're in a Zoom environment and it gets a Teams meeting, you hit the join button and it joins that Teams meeting. The difference is things like far-end camera control, some whiteboarding features, those kind of things might not be available when you're joining the other meeting.
Understood. And you know a thing or two about the whole world of AV and control because you spent a little time with a control company. So you understand how that kind of go back and forth and how to switch and what the importance of a GUI is. So can't question your knowledge there, sir.
Correct. The interesting part is, because I've been doing this a long time, the interesting part for me is it's hard to get my head around the fact that the hardware now the software now dictates how the hardware operates. You know, for all my years, we built hardware and you said, here's the hardware and this is what it does. But now my hardware actually changes its functionality based on the software that it's running. Which is really kind of unique. So, you know, in today's world, and I'm sure it'll change in the future, in today's world, if I'm in the Zoom world, I can have up to 5 cameras connected in a call at the same time. If I'm in a Teams world, I can have 1 main camera and then an annotation whiteboarding camera.
Awesome. The one definite thing that I've always gone by is that change is constant. That is, unfortunately, it always does change. So today it's this way, folks. If you're watching a recording of this 5 years from now, it's obviously changed because that's just the way things are. So it's great. We have your display in front of the room. This is every other whiteboard is kind of doing that kind of thing. But you guys released a new product, and it allows you to add the View Pro cameras into this conversation now. tell me about the View Pro cameras for the folks that weren't at Infocom or at ISE where you guys made these announcements.
Sure. So these cameras are built for the Zoom environment because of the way Zoom operates. So Zoom in particular, Microsoft addresses it in a different way. But in the Zoom environment, the concern is when you go into a conference room and everybody's sitting around the table, the remote participants do not see everybody in an individual box like they used to when everybody was at home. So Zoom has created a feature set that they refer to as Smart Gallery or multi-stream. And what it allows you to do is it allows you to find people in the room, their heads and shoulders, and cut them out and put them in their own box in the stream. Now, the problem is if you really think about it, if it's a rectangular table and the TV screen's at the end of the wall and the camera's shooting the entire room, right? You end up getting a lot of left ear, right ear shots when you cut these people out because they might be looking at each other. So we created these View Pro cameras, and it's 2 cameras that go on each side. They clip right to the side of the board, and one camera shoots the front part of the room, the short side, and the second one shoots the long side of the room. So what ends up happening is you have these cameras covered the entire room, and you're picking people up from everywhere. So if you can see the photo here are the View Pro cameras, 2 on each side. The other thing is the lenses, because they're much narrower focus and focus directly where they want to go, they're much sharper. They're like 6 times sharper than if you just digitally grab people from the other side. And probably one of the coolest features, which I'm going to turn my background off for you, but everybody just saw a picture of those View Pro cameras with those little clips, it looked like, on the backside. On the back of a D7X, there are actually clips for the cameras right here. So you take those cameras, you slide them on, and they clip right in. And what you don't really know is here at the top is a USB-C port. So these cameras clip on, and that's it. They're up and ready to go. And now you've got 5 different cameras in the room so you can get everybody's head and shoulder, everybody's facial shot. So let me see if I can find I got a picture that will probably help us a little bit.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the View Cam Pros did not make it to Dave's house in time.
I don't have cameras yet. I'm working on it.
They're on their way. So we do promise a future demo video set up with the View Pro cameras coming soon, folks.
So if you take a look here, a bunch of different examples, whether I'm using single screens or dual screens, those side view cameras, not only do they give me coverage because they shoot across the room, you're looking at people in the eye, even though those people are looking across at the other person. So you get a much better eye view coming all the way across. The center camera I can still use for the main person at the front. And now everybody can be in that shot. And just to expand it a little further, I've actually got an example of that here. This photo was taken, we were using our 75-inch screen. The upper left-hand corner here is from the main camera on the top of the board. The upper right-hand corner are the 3 people that are seated, and they were picked out by the View Pro cameras. The person in the lower right-hand corner is the guy 40 feet away standing against the back wall, and you can see how clean he looks. And then just because we didn't have any boundaries turned on, the person in the lower left-hand corner is actually the cameraman who's in the hallway. And the View Pro camera shooting across got him in the hallway. You can see a little edge of his tripod over there.
Very interesting, because this gets you guys. So one of the hot topics that came out of both ISE and Infocom and that everybody's waiting for, everybody's starving, to be honest, at least from the amount of chatter and talk that I've gotten about this. Everybody wants the multi-room camera setups, right? The pandemic proved that good enough was not good enough, fortunately, right? No more webcam built-in laptop cameras. Let's move it to a better camera. The better camera in the front of the room moved to an even better camera. And now that we have been kind of accustomed to the even better shot, now can we get a multiple shot? Can we get a different type of angle? Because the one camera setup, though good in the front, is really stressing trying to grab people, and you get in earshots, you get all different types of stuff. This is DTEN's answer to the multi-camera setup. You may be familiar with that from other manufacturers that are putting cameras in the center of the room and kind of getting the full face shots those ways. This way, it is actually getting you a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 camera shot.
Yep.
Two on each side, one in the center. So you got 5 cameras constantly changing and moving and finding people in the space using AI to do that. Very interesting. And for those that were on my Midwich Live conversation earlier today, I'm happy that I have Dave here to explain, because I did talk about this. It's a very interesting setup, because what are the chances that you as an integrator are consistently going to have a table in the center of the space and people sitting around that or sitting in that space, as opposed to auditorium style, right? Or training room style, right? Or in a higher ed environment where you have teacher students, right? You may have a camera on the back and a camera pointing at the people sitting in the audience. So this audience camera view is a very different view, and it's very unique. And to show that somebody standing outside the room without boundaries, still kind of weird, because obviously it was kind of a ghost. When I first saw that, and I'd seen that earlier in another presentation that I saw from that Dan O'Donnell had, I was like, who's that ghost? Like, I don't see the guy in the room.
Where'd he come from, right?
Right? Like here is like some weird Hollywood trick. Like, who's that guy? Right? And sure enough, he was standing outside the room in the back right-hand corner. I did see the sticks because I had to go look for that. But yeah, he was filming what was going on in the room for a DTEN commercial, and he got picked up on camera, which is pretty interesting that it did have that much of an angle, that it was out of our field of view, and that it got picked up on the side. So for the folks that are designing the spaces like the like training rooms or universities, and you need to have 1, 2, 3, 4 different rows that go further back, or that it may be a little wider, these may be an interesting option, right? Dave, when are we looking at the ship dates for these?
ViewPro cameras are shipping today. So they're available. You can certainly order them, and we'll get them shipped right out to you. I will say the other big design, as I talk to real estate people, those kind of people, who are not technology people at all, when they design the room with windows on one side, glass wall on the other, technology on this wall, and art on the back wall. They don't want to see cameras on every wall. They don't build spaces for cameras to be on any wall, but we want that coverage, and ViewPro cameras give it to you. And you don't even have to put anything on the table, because as we know, many people don't want anything on the table, right? So nothing to distract what's going on the table, and you still get everybody's view perfectly. Real powerful tool. I think people are going to love them.
Yeah, that's, I think you have a hit there. I think you have a winner there with this, because it is definitely, you're in the, how do I put this? You are definitely in trend with the multi-camera setup right now. There's a lot of need. There's a lot of curiosity about it. If folks want to see a working demo of this, where can we find one? Can we get something? We reach out to you guys. You guys have this demo set up that we can dial into, and we can give people a quick demo.
We have this set up in our headquarters, and we can dial in and we can do a complete demo for you. We also have a configuration set up in an office in New York, and we can go in there and see it in the what's called the Gateway in New York, if you'd like.
Okay, so in Gateway, it's in Midtown Manhattan or Uptown, to be honest with you. An appointment can be made. We can get you there if you're in the New York City area, or if you need to see the remote view, we can arrange that too. Your Starin rep will be more than happy to assist that, and our business management account person for DTEN, Kathy Pritt, can also be of service to this as well. So there is more than one way for you guys to see this in action if you're not seeing it in action today. But we do have Dave here giving us the run through. Dave, we've talked ViewPro cameras. We've talked Teams certification on your new products, the D7X Android on Teams. That's coming.
75 is coming. 55 is already certified.
Okay. So the 75 is on its way. And what's the anticipated date for folks that are sitting here waiting?
For the 75, anticipated date is September. We also have a controller coming along with it, so the Mate PoE, and that's anticipated for the end of this month.
Awesome. So there you go. Those are the latest and greatest updates on that. You will also be notified from us as a Starin client. The minute we arrive at, we will obviously let you guys know that what we have in stock. We are not shy about telling you what we did get in stock and what we don't have in stock. So please just hit up your Starin rep and we'll be able to assist you. If not, you'll hear from us, because as soon as these products are coming in, we understand that they're hot to trot. So we're going to move them out for you. So just let us know. And we're going to jump into the Q&A because they're starting to pile up. So thank you, everybody, for submitting the questions. I'm going to go through and start. The first one, does DTEN have direct-to-customer Tier 1 or Tier 2 support?
The answer is yes, absolutely. Believe it or not, the best way to get it is to use our Orbit software, which is our monitoring and management software, to see what the device is working. If they're not working, right in Orbit, you can hit open a ticket and it'll start a ticket appropriately. You can also at the same time engage what we call mission control from there, which is you give permission for us to connect to the board and we remotely go in and repair whatever's going on for you. Okay. So that's the quickest, easy way to go. If you don't have Orbit, or you're not signed up for Orbit, or you don't have the account, the second best way to go is to use chat. And I will tell you right now, if you're a DTEN partner, go into the DTEN partner portal. That's allbound.dten.allbound.com. Same place you register your projects and all those kind of things. Start a chat from there, because now we know you're a dealer and you're prioritized over everybody else who's coming in the chat window.
So this is the first I see an opening here to do a shameless plug, and I'm going to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, MI support. Please contact your Starin rep. They'll be more than happy to help. MI support is a support service that obviously we offer as a service as well. That is there for you as well. So get a hold of your Starin account manager, and they'll be able to give you all the details on MI support. Next question came in from Jared. Ed?
I was going to say our support runs 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, which I think yours does too.
Are we going to turn this into my support's better than your support? I mean,
no. I just want to throw it in because not everybody runs 24 hours.
You know, I'm joking, right? Yeah. Support is support, no matter which way you get it. But good support is hard to find. So at least we will both agree that we both offer great support on your product there, Dave. Next question comes in from Jared. Jared asks, is there a way for clients to switch back and forth during the course of a day between Zoom and Teams? Not just the board, like on the fly, is what I'm assuming. And I think you may have answered this before, because his follow-up question, and that answered my question. Thanks. You want to give a little bit more details of how people jump between Zoom and Teams? Can they do it? Is that recommended? How does that work?
Yeah, so it's not really I don't know if you can see this very well, but I'll try here. You don't really have to jump back and forth these days, because both manufacturers have just made it easy to use multiple platforms. So if you can see this, I'm in Zoom mode right now. So if you can see my board in Zoom mode, if I hit more, I actually get logos that say, do you want to join Google Meet? Do you want to join a Teams meeting? Do you want to join a WebEx meeting? And you just come in here and punch in your number, and you're in just like you joined any other meeting. If I'm all the way back in the beginning here and I hit join, by default, it's Zoom, but at the bottom, I can switch to Google or Teams or whatever down here. So from a user point of view, I don't need to leave this environment to then go join another meeting. But if my company's making the switch and I don't want to pay for Zoom room licenses anymore, and I want to pay for Teams rooms licenses, then I would make the switch and do the reboot and switch it over to the other side. The problem with thinking, I'm going to switch back and forth every other hour, if nothing else, means you have to buy a Teams room license and a Zoom room license, and have both of them if you're going to switch back and forth from time to time or day to day. And in the end, that doesn't make sense, because both platforms join the other anyway.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Donald has a very inquisitive question, and it's up to you if you want to answer this question, Dave. What control company? In reference to, check his LinkedIn and you'll see. That's a good one. Go ahead, check.
I'll be happy to say yes, I spent 19 years at Crestron.
There you go. There's your answer, Donald. All right. So what happens when we open up a can of worms? Now all of a sudden you're going to be, tell us, where have you vacationed, Dave? No?
No.
No, we're not going to get into vacation hotspots? No, okay.
Actually, next month I'm going to the Hamptons. How's that?
I go to the islands too. It's Staten Island, maybe Long Island. That's about as much as the islands as I get to go these days. Next question from Donald. Donald asks, let's see the View Pro camera, please. Donald, you were asking a lot. We do not have the View Pro camera there other than the graphic that we showed at the beginning, but we will have, there is an opportunity, obviously, to see a working demo of the system. We can schedule that. Unfortunately, Dave did not have those at his home office.
And even if I did, I don't have enough people to show them.
Yeah, that could be an issue too. But yeah, we definitely can set something up, Donald. I hope that answers the question. But the View Pro cameras are out and they're ready at their headquarters and coming into Starin. So answer that one. You add third-party USB cameras for, say, for a rear camera. In other words, dual 75 with the cool camera in the center, eye level, and then how do you add that secondary camera in the back?
Yeah, so you can do that. If you want to add a secondary camera in the back, I would encourage you to use the Windows version of the D7X and not the Android version of the D7X, because Windows just supports more cameras in more configurations, is the idea. You bring those cameras in via USB, and then depending on the platform you're in, they choose how those cameras come into the call.
It's wild. Again, the platform is dictating space and even the design of the space at this time. So I hope that answers the questions regarding the third-party USB cameras. Done is Donald wants to know, is the View Pro camera a 4K camera?
Yes, they're all 4K cameras.
And the center camera on that 7-dual-75
that was also 4K camera.
4K camera. Excellent. Correct. Are lenses interchangeable? Another question from Donald. I'm just going to keep going, Donald. Yeah.
No, the lenses are not interchangeable. They're fixed where they are.
And what's the dispersion? I mean,
so the center camera is 129-degree angle of view. And I don't remember on the View Pro camera what each one of them is. They're a little different because one's throwing short and one's throwing longer.
Another question came in from Donald. The D7X via USB, can it be controlled via LAN browser interface?
Sorry, Chris,
is the D7X via USB, or can they be controlled via LAN browser interface?
So the D7X can be controlled with a controller. If you're in the Teams world, you can be controlled with a controller in the Zoom world. In the Zoom world, we also have Ethernet controls, but those Ethernet controls are basic, turn it on, turn it off, change input. The actual environment controls would come from the Zoom controller app that you would run on your desktop or phone.
Sounds good. And you get a boo from Donald, I'm assuming, because you did not have the cameras. That will be a demerit. I've assigned a demerit towards you, Dave. So I just want to let you know. Man, that's old school stuff right there. Getting assigned hit with the demerit. Anyway, next question. Can you add a second or even third display to the D7X?
The answer is yes, you can. There's an HDMI out, so you can have a second display, and that can be either mirrored or extended, as they call it. But on a slightly different subject, which is maybe a better place to go, we do make a dual version ourselves of the D7X, and the dual D7X does a couple of things for us. But the biggest thing that it does is we move the camera. So if I just share my screen here for a second for everybody, whoops, you can't hit the stop share button right after you share. It doesn't work that way. Right? So here is our Dual 75. And if you take a look at the Dual 75, and by the way, the Dual 75 does come with View Pro cameras. What we did here was we removed the camera bar from the top and put a new bar. So the center camera is now dead center, looking straight down the table at everybody in the eye. We also added some additional speakers in there to push more sound into the room.
Awesome. And with that camera going to the center.
Yeah, center camera. You're looking right down the center of it, right in everybody's eyes. And the big powerful advantage for duals, if anybody ever says, I don't like using remote participants because I can't see everybody, I would immediately recommend that they look at a dual, because the advantage to the dual is I can have all the content, annotation, whatever I want to do on one screen. And on the other screen, I can have up to 49 remote participants. So as a presenter, as an instructor, I'm still looking everybody in the eye and sharing my content with them. And that's really the power of the dual layout.
Yeah, it's the simplest things sometimes that are the most impressive. And putting that camera at that height, which will determine your monitor height, makes such a big difference, because that's an ongoing debate that I've seen with a lot of people, whether it is, it's a preference thing. Now, some people take it to science and say, no, the standard says, or Infocom says, or Avixa says that you do it at this height off the finished ground. But everybody always ends up based on the room configuration, whether it is above or below or to the side. And especially when you start talking about adding a PTZ camera in the place of where it's not coming in an all-in-one, that camera location ideally should be in the center. But I do like that you're not biting into the overall height by getting rid of that by that sound bar at the bottom and placing it in the middle. The question for you regarding this, is there a way to take audio out and add additional speakers to the back into the ceiling, for example, and bring the audio further into a long room?
Yeah, absolutely. If you wanted to both audio in and audio out appropriately, the best way to do it is connect via USB, and away you go. And you'll be in or out. Again, the rules are a little different. The Windows version is going to allow many more devices to come in than the Android version, because Android doesn't have as many drivers built, is really what the issue becomes. And if I'm booted into Teams, it has to be a Teams certified additional piece of hardware, or it's not supported. So Windows is easier than Android when you're doing those things. USB is the best way to do it, in or out. Technically, there's a 3.5 millimeter jack, but who uses that old sound anymore? Right?
Old audio guys do.
Yeah, right. There is, within the Zoom environment, if you did have external microphones and you wanted to send them via Dante to Zoom, Zoom would use those microphones instead of my microphones appropriately. But unfortunately, Zoom doesn't send audio back via Dante. So I think most people end up connecting via USB and just letting one USB cable go both ways.
Okay. Sounds good. Next question. Sean asks, are you able to set zones or place the cameras that will only show or not show? Are you able to set zones or places that cameras will only show or not show? In other words, when you're with the View Pro cameras, can you say only use the right camera, for example, and the right front camera?
You can. Yeah. You can go in and set which camera you want to use, and you can control those cameras, zoom in and out appropriately if you just wanted them in a fixed position and not cutting everybody out appropriately. You can do that. We're also in the process of building video and audio boundaries. So if there is a glass hallway, for example, we're not going to pick up the people in the hall.
Okay, sounds good. On a similar note, Yuri asks, how do you deal with the boundaries, and how do you, so that you don't pick up those folks in the hallway, or even a photograph on the wall behind the glass walls of the conference room? I can definitely see, like, the portrait of Michael Richardson from Steinfeld being out in the hall.
Right, getting framed up, yes.
You'd be framed up in the call.
Yeah, that's specifically why we're working on building audio and video boundaries into the solutions. As a matter of fact, we actually had somebody call and complain because there was a window washer that came down and it framed the window washer and put them in the call.
Interesting. Yeah, we don't want them part of the call.
Right.
Yeah,
that's on the list to be done.
Okay. Donald asks, is the stitching cropping to make multiple virtual ISO camera views an automatic setting?
Sorry, say that again.
Is the stitching or cropping to make multiple virtual ISO camera views an automatic setting? So in other words, you just check off that and everybody will get stitched in?
Yep, you check it off and everybody gets stitched in. And in the Zoom environment, you can even set it as a default to force it that way every time they start a call.
Okay, Donald comes back. If people join or leave a meeting, how annoying is the multi-window layout? In other words, is it constantly changing, or is it waiting a little bit for that refresh? Is it going to wait to see if you truly left, or if you just like, for example, with a cough, right? It's not going to it's going to recognize. A lot of these systems now recognize coughs and won't automatically jump to the person who just coughed. Is people, falling out of the picture? Is it automatically chasing them, or is it going to wait a little bit to see if you come back? How?
It's going to stay. If you're in auto framing or in multi-stream, it's going to stay with that person. If they get up and walk around, it's going to stay right with them and zoom right with them appropriately. If they step out of frame, that's when it's going to drop them, and the other camera would pick up if they cross to the other side.
Does the side camera?
For most meeting rooms, it never seems to be a problem, but it looks really crazy when you get to Infocom, because there are hundreds of people walking around and it's trying to find all of them.
Yeah. So we got another question in. Any value to the side cameras with MTR? Obviously, Microsoft Teams rooms have specific details when it comes to it. So where's the added value for the View Pro?
There is no added value for View Pro cameras. However, we are working with Microsoft, and ultimately what we want to do is use those View Pro cameras to feed the front row layout.
Sounds good. All right. Leslie asks, does it require a Zoom license and Teams paid license as a separate cost? I'm assuming the boards, yes. But is there an additional fee for any of this other multi-camera support?
No, there's no additional fee for the multi-camera support. If you have a full Zoom room license, you're good to go.
And that is for both the Zoom room specific.
Right. Teams only has one type of license.
Let me ask
Teams rooms. Yeah.
You have two licenses on one screen.
You can't have two licenses on one screen. It would be one or the other. You'd factory reset and put in the other license if you were doing that.
I knew I was trying to stump you, Dave, and I've yet to do that. Man.
That's the way I do it here. Is if somebody wants a Teams demo, I factory reset it, put it into Teams, put in all the licensing again.
Okay. Can we please see the second slide you showed previously? I don't know which one that is. It could be you've shown 3 slides. So the first slide was showing the different pickup patterns of the cameras. The second slide was the video, the people in the room with the ghost image of the guy standing outside. So if you don't mind pulling that up, I hope that helps, Donald.
I will find it right here. There we go. I have found them. Share screen.
Flow diagram. He was looking at the flow. He was looking for the flow diagram. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Looking for this one.
Possibly. And we can show the other one too. So that should do it. Okay. And you want to bring up the Dual 75 as well?
Sure. So there's that other picture just in case.
Yep.
Then here's my Dual 75. There's the best view of that.
Awesome. We can leave that up for a little bit. Then Donald then asks, does DTEN offer direct replacement and how fast?
Yeah, we have it as long as you're under the warranty. We have an advanced replacement program, so we'll ship the new unit before you have to send the old one back.
Okay, sounds good. Michael asks, hi, is there a demo dealer kit unit we can purchase for demos?
Yes. Yep, we have a full NFR program. You can reach out to any one of your DTEN salespeople, and they can help you with that.
Just Michael, let us know at Starin, and we'll be able to help that.
Absolutely.
With that kit. All right. Troy asks, does the View Pro camera consume just one H stream, or are there additional bandwidth considerations?
Whenever you turn on multi-stream, there are an additional bandwidth considerations. And within the Zoom admin portal, you can set a limit on the bandwidth for each stream, as well as the total number of streams that you'll allow into a call.
Okay, perfect. Donald asks, do we need to be a dealer for getting our D10 products from Starin? You are considered a dealer if you get you are considered a dealer if you're buying your stuff from Starin. Hope that helps. Perfect. How large is D10 worldwide? That's the next question.
Wait, I have an answer for that. Hold on just a second.
Not stumping you on this one, am I?
No, it's a different slide deck. So I'll get it in just a second here. I didn't include that slide.
And while we're at it, you could probably answer this from Donald as well. What type of install training does DTEN provide installers?
I can certainly answer that. Training's actually pretty easy because remember, it's an all-in-one device. So it's kind of as simple as hanging it on the wall if you think about it that way.
And it even comes with the mount, Donald.
Right. And
the mount is included in the package. So it's hanging a monitor on the wall and doing some basic, inputting the Zoom license into it. That's pretty much the install for a D10. You can probably do an install.
Right. But in all fairness, we do have an online training program within our dealer portal, d10.allbound.com. And our sales guys will be happy to go out to anybody's office and do on-site training for anybody who would like it. And I think this kind of answers all the questions. We were founded in 2015 in San Jose. There's all the good marketing stuff. And then we go to 10 global offices, stocking distributors, 1,000 plus global sales partners.
Awesome.
I know from 19 countries. Look at that.
I can tell you that from our end that we are part of the Midwich Group, and we can provide you both this here in the States and obviously through our Midwich companies in various countries. So all we have to do is, if you're looking to go international, we can help with that. We have global account managers that can help you and assist getting product into different countries. It's just a matter of your specific one. So I don't want to say, hey, we can get it into this tiny little country in the Far East until I run through. So I don't want to misspeak, but we can definitely help you with your international deliveries of D10 without question. Jared said, thank you. I guess we answered the question correctly. Thank you, Jared. Appreciate it. Jim asks, is it certified for Zoom Government?
Yeah.
Boards? Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, we can run Zoom for Government without a problem.
Which, is there anyone in specific, the D7X, or is it?
They all the D7s and D7Xs are all certified for Zoom for Government. It's a matter of that particular group or agency licensing Zoom for Government, putting it on it.
And the Mi Pro too?
What's that?
And the Mi Pro as well?
Yeah, Mi Pro as well. Mm-hmm.
Okay, just checking. Yeah,
it. When you put your credentials in, it puts you into Zoom for Government mode.
Okay. Go ahead and shut that window down. I don't know what type of wine Donald's looking for, so I will. Not sure what that was. There are, I guess this is a question I can answer. Donald, yes, the View Pro Camera PDF and photos, we do have that. We can get you. We will have that sent out in our email with the links to the D10 portal, so you have access to all that information in the Starin portal. Done. I got people saying, "Who's Donald?" because he's asking 1,000 questions. You're famous. You're town hall famous. Welcome. Is the OS built into the chassis or on a changeable module?
The OS is built onto a compute that slides into an OPS slot. And it is removable. So if for some reason we lose the PC, we can pull it out and swap just the PC. We don't have to change the entire piece of hardware. Certainly from a serviceability point of view, I can show you that. This one's running Android right here, right? So Android, I've got my card right here. There are 2 screws, if you can see it. Card slides right out, slide a new one in if I lose the PC for some reason. And another modular trick is a camera bar on the top is removable. So if I have a problem with the camera or microphones, I can take it off and just get a new one shipped in and put it right back on. So chances are most of the time, unless you really break the screen, you're not returning the entire unit.
Okay. What amount of programming time is necessary to set up? The question, I'm sorry, this one comes in again from Donald. Time is necessary to set up Zoom rooms via IT departments. So does it work without a license? Does it work without any license?
It does. When it first boots up, it boots up as an unlicensed Zoom room, and you can punch in a join number and join a meeting for up to 40 minutes. Or you can start a meeting, and that meeting will run up to, I guess, 41 minutes now. If you join a meeting that has been created by a paid license of any kind, it will stay in that meeting the entire time.
That's great. Another person asked, can you set boundaries on the microphone?
Yeah, when we say boundaries, it's audio and video boundaries together.
Okay. So it's not a separate mic boundary versus audio.
No, we're going to do audio and video boundaries together. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Donald, again, so second monitor needs to be Teams room or Zoom room. What if you were using Blue Jeans or Google Meet with dual D7Xs side by side?
So the good news is I don't have to ever worry about Blue Jeans again because Verizon shut it down about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So we're done with Blue Jeans. That's the end of that. I believe the end of the month they finished. And yes, both Zoom and Teams are working on being able to join other platforms as they become more popular. GoTo is the next one that I think both of them are really working on.
Yeah. Jared's going back to your 3.5. You brought out the old 3.5 millimeter jack thing, so now you're going to get the questions, Dave. So what I just heard, a 3.5 millimeter out to an amp, the Origin Pro speakers that were easy to install in the ceiling. Jared, I owe you a slice of pizza. He's obviously here's somebody who obviously knows that Origin Pro is our new speaker brand that we brought to the thing. So thank you for the plug and reminding me that it's there. Yes, and Jared is not a plant. I just want to put that out there. Whoever wants to argue that. Leslie asks, are there exclusion zones that we can set to the built-in microphones and or speakers?
Not so much for speakers. There will be for microphones. We're calling them audio and video boundaries is the term we like to use.
Okay. Again, not separate. Everything's treated as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
When can you promise boundaries to be?
Believe it or not, that feature set already exists on our D10 Me Pros.
Awesome. Well, I'm gonna have to go play with that now because I have one in my office. Donald asks, when can you promise boundaries to be incorporated? Man, what do you say, Dave? When's boundaries going to happen?
I am wise enough to not be able to speak on the engineering department. I know it's an active project in development, but that's all I know.
Good answer. Good answer. So you're pretty sly when I ask you, can you give me some Infocom scoop? And you never do. I tried twisting your arm.
I know.
I try to get the ISE information out of you. You don't. You're like a sphinx. I can't read what's going to come out of you next. And you made the wise decision of deflecting that question to engineering. Awesome. You are definitely a pro in the world of AV. Thank you. I hope that helps. Done. Do view boards offer movable cart or working with a third-party manufacturer? That's coming in from Donald. I know that we can provide you a very nice heckler cart to go with it, or something from Chief, or something from Peerless. But Dave, would you like to give the official D10 response to movable cart?
Sure. You're more than welcome to use a movable cart. Heckler has actually custom built carts, D10 carts for both the 55 and the 75. But to jump to Donald's next question, the 55 uses a 400 by 300 VESA pattern, and the 75-inch uses an 800 by 400 VESA pattern.
Awesome. Troy says, thank you, Troy, for being here. Appreciate that. I'm assuming that is from a question that we answered earlier. Billy asks, are there specs available on the wall mount that's included? You just dropped that information. So Billy, you were mistaken for Donald. I know Donald was asking a lot of questions, but Billy, the answer was previously given. Dave, you want to run through that again? What is the VESA wall mount size?
Sure. For the 55, it's 400 by 300 VESA pattern, and for the 75, it's 800 by 400.
Okay.
And there's a complete CAD drawing as well as specs on our dealer portal, and that's d10.allbound.com or allbound.d10.com. Sorry, I always get it backwards.
So he's asked so many questions that Donald wants a free T-shirt. I'll leave that up to you to answer. He wants a free t-shirt for asking the most logical questions. That is a challenge to the rest of you folks on the webinar. Not a webinar, it's a town hall to ask all the questions. Thank you, Donald, for your engagement. It has been absolutely wonderful. Appreciate all the questions. And Donald is a real person and a real integrator, not just some plant sitting there as well. Amos asks, what is the real world usable range of the microphone, and does it have built-in D-reverb?
Yes, it has a very sophisticated echo canceling sound pickup range. One of the things that we do very well, because if you think about it, all the microphones are at one location and the entire room, it goes the other direction. So one of the things that DTEN is really, really good at is taking that audio and making it the same level no matter where you are in the room. I could pace all the way around this room and my audio volume wouldn't change from one side of the room to the other. So lots of sophisticated AI trying to make that happen. There's no doubt about that.
Appreciate it.
What was the other half of that question? I think I skipped half.
And does it do some sort of reverb?
Yeah, there's echo cancellation that we have built, as well as, believe it or not, again, this is where the software people dictate the hardware. Microsoft eliminates over 7,000 different sounds that could be heard in the call. Zoom, way before the pandemic, actually went on a mission and eliminated every sound that you hear in a Starbucks. And I've noticed, Chris, I know you have this experience, guaranteed as soon as you get on a call, your neighbor has their lawn mowed and the leaf blowers are going. And although it's almost deafening to you, nobody at the other end hears it.
Awesome. And just to follow up on Amos's question, D-reverb, aka the RT60.
What's that?
Amos specifically was asking about D-reverb, what he says, aka RT60.
I don't know what that is.
Okay.
Haven't heard that.
All right. Donald just said, Donald is with an integrator with Visual Technologies. Thank you so much, sir. He is working and doing his thing, and he appreciates the webinar. Appreciate you being here, Donald. Thank you so much. And then the last question that came in, if Amos can clarify, yes. Do the DTEN support earbuds or of the like? Can they do Bluetooth? Turn it personal. The Mi Pro can.
Yeah, the Mi Pro does a Bluetooth connection. The larger boards do not.
Okay, cool. And Donald says he needs an XL shirt just in case. So okay. just let you know. And that's all the questions and time that we have for today. Oh, wait a minute, Amos, tweet, thumb. That's how long the sound bounces around the room, RT60. In other words, it's a slap echo. I think that's how you would know it.
Got it. Okay.
Yes. Thank you, Amos, for helping me stump Dave. I knew it was going to happen eventually.
Yeah, so that slap echo is definitely included in everything that we do. Within the Zoom and Teams environment, all does it a little differently. They all have an echo test, and when you install a unit, you can run an echo test, and it'll look for any of that and adjust automatically that's within the software side before we in the hardware side even start looking at stuff.
Okay, so we got to wrap it up. We're up at 55 minutes. It's been a wonderful town hall, a lot of engagement, a lot of Q&A. Exactly what we want from a town hall. This is why we do this, folks. It is for you. Not necessarily a webinar, you're not getting trained, but this is the time that you get to hang out and talk to the manufacturer, find out more about the products that they're talking about, and get to ask those questions that you traditionally won't be able to or can't get access to. We're trying to make that work. Again, for future stuff that you guys are looking for DTEN, reach out to your Starin rep. They have the latest and greatest information that Dave dropped today. Plus, they have the availability of what's here and what is ready to go. We do have View Pro cameras in stock, right? And that is confirmed. Our Kathy from our business management group has now sent me a note that says, please go ahead and put your orders in because we do have some of those in. We can get them out. We do have the D7X in stock. The D7 Android for Teams is on its way in the 75. The 55s are here. Mi Pros are in. Whatever you guys need. And I was going to go back and forth, but I kind of got this information ahead of time. where you can find D10 next. You'll see them at Zoomtopia. They have a VIP party. If you are going to Zoomtopia, please let us know or let Dave know directly. He can be found on LinkedIn. That's where we're going to get all that information.
We also have a discount code for you if you need it.
There you go. Discount code and all. If you are in California and you're going to Zoomtopia, he will be found next at the Zoomtopia Vistacom Expo, which is for end users and people that are customers of Vistacom, who is an integrator partner that we work with. So he'll be there. He will be at the Diversified Sales Summit, which is coming up in Phoenix. I will see you there. And he'll be at the AVI Live in Indy. So if you are an end user, you have those 3 places that you can find D10 and obviously Zoomtopia. And in the future, if you're heading out to Barcelona, you will see D10 there because they are planted firmly into the ISC space, and we'll have a booth there as well. Everything that I need to talk about is done. Our conversation is over. This town hall now comes to an end. Dave, thank you so much for being here, but I can't leave without announcing a winner. And today's 50 card, wow, I can't even read anymore at this point. The $50 Amazon e-card winner, as spun, where's producer Mark's note? Here it comes. He's spinning the wheel of names. And today's winner is Jared. Jared Shortkin, you have won the $50 Amazon gift card. The wheel of names has given us an answer. It's like Zoltar. Wow, I just dated myself. Watch the movie Big and you'll know what I'm talking about. And you'll learn how to play the chopsticks on the piano at FAO Schwartz. Anyway, that's all the time we have for today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being a part of our town hall. My name is Chris Neto. I'm the market development manager here. You can find me on the socials, Twitter, LinkedIn. Connect with me there. If you need to find me outside of the regular working hours, I always answer. I don't sleep. And Dave, same thing. I will be hitting up Dave later on today because I need to see what he does with the chopped chicken in the refrigerator because friends with Dave, so I need to find out what the mystery dinner meal was going to be with a couple pantry items. That's how I'm going to stump you going forward. I'm going to give you a list of stuff, and you have to go figure out how to make chicken using, some weird cheese and some weird beans, and what can you come up with, Dave? That's what I'm going to do. That is the future podcast. That's what we're going to work on.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, everybody.
Excellent. Thank you so much, everybody. This has been the August Town Hall.